Hi everyone. I just wanted to make a quick video about a decision that I made in my life and an experience that happened to me. So I created this channel because I wanted it to be a place where voices could be heard, and not just mine, but people around me. And it has been a little intimidating for people to want to come onto YouTube and share their story and let the world see it. And so I can understand that. And so I kind of felt guided to heard a voice say, start with you. Start with you. So I am going to come on here and share an experience and of my own. And I am going to talk about God and church. And if that makes you uncomfortable, then this probably isn't a video for you. And that's okay. So I want to talk about why I decided to stop reading tarot cards and to go back to church. So I was raised in the Mormon church. My parents joined when I was 7 years old. And so I was raised in the Mormon church. And when I was 18, actually when I was 19, and I moved out of my parents' house, I decided not to go back to church. And just because religion wasn't resonating with me at that time, I knew that I believed in God, and I knew that I believed in Jesus Christ, and I believed in the Holy Spirit. And because when I was 15, I had a very highly spiritual experience that made my testimony very strong that God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit do exist. And that is going to be written in my book next year when it comes out. I'll probably also do a video about it when I'm ready to share it. But that made my testimony very strong, and I knew that I believed in God and that I believed in the Holy Spirit and Jesus Christ. And so I would watch Joel Osteen on TV and some other religious, non-denominational things that would preach, right? And I thought that was enough until I had an experience a couple months ago that really changed the way I was thinking about God and the things I was doing in my life and why I was doing them. And so when that happened to me, and that will be an experience that I will share in another video when I'm ready to share that. And so when it happened to me, I knew I wanted to go back to church, and that I had a deep desire to start building a very strong relationship with God. And I felt like I needed to go back to church. And so the first church, I went to 3 different churches. The first church I went back to was the Mormon church because it was familiar to me, right? And we like things that are familiar to us. And so I decided to call the missionaries and have them come to my house. And I went back to church at the Mormon church. And I went there for a month. And I received 2 beautiful, beautiful blessings from one priesthood holder there. Blessings that I needed at that time. And on the 4th Sunday, I was sitting in church. And I remembered why I quit going to the Mormon church. I was trying to really make myself believe the things that they were teaching, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't because I just don't believe in those things. And I don't want to get into detail about that because I don't want this to be about bad-mouthing the Mormon church, because I don't want to do that. But there are things that they teach there that I just can't bring myself to believe in. And that's okay, because there are many, many religions on this earth, and I think that they all serve a purpose for certain people. And I'm just not one of those people. So I needed a non-denominational church that I would feel comfortable going into. I wanted it to be about community and about people worshiping and celebrating together and feeling like I was part of that. I really wanted a community of people. And I found one church, but it was so far away that it wasn't a desire to drive there every Sunday to go to church there. And so one day I was listening to the radio, and this commercial came on for volunteering to be a mentor for teenage children. And so I went online and I filled out the application, and the guy who runs it contacted me the next day. And we had a conversation that was nothing, had nothing to do with volunteering. He wanted me to know that that foundation was a faith-based organization. And so he wanted to know that I believed in God, and he wanted to know what religion I was. And at that time, I was just realizing that I did not belong in the Mormon church. And so I had expressed that to him, and that I was looking for a church. And he said, well, I know this pastor in Aurora that might be perfect for you. I feel guided to tell you about him, so I would like to set up a email chain between you and him, and you can choose to go to his church and see if it's a fit for you. And that's how I was led to Truth Faith Worship Ministries, where I met Pastor Loggins. And it has been a blessing in my life because it was a fit. It is a beautiful community of people who worship God, and it's Bible-based, and they're teaching about the Bible and Bible study. And that's what I wanted, because even though I was raised in the Mormon church, I don't know a lot about the Bible, and I've always been curious about it because I believe the Bible was placed here as a guide for us for all of our experiences in life. There is something in the Bible that relates to it that says, hey, this is the right way to handle this, the best way to handle this. And so I've always believed that about the Bible, but I never really knew much about it, and I just really had a desire to learn about it. And so this church was having Bible study, and I went to Bible study. And a couple weeks in, I joined that church. And just a minute, I think I have it right here. So this is the certificate that I received from Pastor Loggins when I decided to join the church. And thank you, Pastor Loggins. So anyways, I joined this church because it was a fit for me. And I believe that God speaks to us through people. And that whole conversation with the organization in Denver, it was called Save Our Youth, was not even about volunteering. It ended up being about the right church for me and where God knew that I would love to be. And so that's how I got going back to church. Now the tarot cards. A lot of people are wanting readings still, and I quit doing the tarot cards probably back in July. It was either June or July. I can't remember. It might have been July. But not because I went back to church, but because I feel like people were coming and getting tarot card readings, and including myself in this. People are looking for answers through card readings and through mediums, and those answers I just feel like those answers are in us. And if you really want answers, you can pray. You can pray to God. If you believe in God, then you can pray to God and you can say, you know what? I need an answer to this. And have that relationship with Him and build that relationship with God instead of searching, and just allow the answers to come to you. So I really felt like, myself included in this, that the cards were being used to search for answers that just weren't where they needed to come from. And especially for myself, because I did want a better relationship, a deeper, meaningful, spiritual relationship with God. And so that's why I chose to stop reading them. And I'm not going to judge anybody who does still wants readings from other people or to go visit mediums and all of that, because I feel like everybody has to learn their own lessons in life through their own time in their own space and their own experiences. But for me, I wanted a deeper relationship, and I just didn't feel like the cards were where I needed to get it. I needed to have a prayer relationship and wait for the answers to show up. And most of the answers come through people, because that's why we're all here. We're all here to teach each other. And God uses us to speak to other people and to give them the messages that they need to hear, because I do believe that by me making this video, there is somebody out there that also is searching for a deeper relationship with God and needs to hear what I'm saying. And no matter what I'm saying in this video, I know it's going to touch somebody. And even if it's one person, then I did my job. And I just wanted to clarify why I chose to go back to church and why I chose to quit reading the tarot cards, so that people would understand. And even if they don't, that's okay. Everything is perfect in its own way. And so I think that's all I really wanted to say in this video. Yes, it is. So my personal experience is that I wanted a deeper relationship with God, and I wanted the answers to come from Him. And ever since I started going to Truth Faith Worship Ministries, Pastor Loggins has given some incredible sermons that has answered so many prayers and so many questions that I've been waiting on years to get. Years. And they finally have come. And it's a deep blessing. Deep blessing for me. And I don't want to get emotional. So I just wanted to share that because, I built this channel for that. And I don't want you guys to be afraid to share your stories because of being judged. It's okay to be judged, because judgment only comes from people who have fear in their life. And they have to deal with their own experiences through their fear. And that's okay. And I don't take that personal, because I do believe that we all learn in our own way, in our own experiences, and in God's time. Not ours, but God's time. And so that's really all I wanted to share today. And I invite you to come on here and share your stories, because it's okay. And I know a lot of people have been intimidated by that. And I believe the right people will show up when God says, here they are. And so I'm going to let that be that. And I felt like He was saying, start with you, because you have a lot of amazing stories, Tammy, to tell on this channel. And I do. And I know that. And I'm just going to start sharing them until other people decide that they would like to do the same thing. And until then, thank you for listening, and we'll talk soon. Bye.